Let me sound off quickly, Chase, if I may. I learned a lot. In Ohio State winning. But I got to say a couple things. Number one, shout out Will Howard. Will Howard, you absolutely dominated. I early on in the college football playoff campaign said he was one of the worst quarterbacks remaining in the playoffs, and he proved that he was actually, in fact, the best when it mattered most. Shout out to you, Will Howard. Shout out to you, Ryan Day. You shut everybody up. Hi. I'm everybody. You shut everybody up after the loss to Michigan, and everybody started to come out and chastise you. Shout out to you, Chip Kelly. Shout out to you, Jeremiah Smith. Shout out to you, Travion Henderson. Shout out to you, Jack Sawyer. Shout out to all of y'all. But the biggest takeaway I had in all of this, and I think this is a life lesson, and there's a saying, it's a life lesson. It's the person who humbles himself will be exalted. And all of these Ohio State players humbled themselves. Chip Kelly, he was a head coach. He said, you know what? I don't want to be the head. I'll be subservient. I'll be an offensive coordinator. He was exalted. Travion Henderson, you set a true freshman record at Ohio State for the most touchdowns, second all time in the rushing yards as a freshman. And you said, Quinshon Judkins, it's all good. I'll share this running back room with you. You humbled yourself. You were exalted. Emeka Egbuka, you will retire as the leading receiver in Ohio State history. But you were never the number one receiver on your team. Marvin Harrison Jr., along with Jeremiah Smith. You could have transferred. You humbled yourself. You became exalted. This Ohio State team is truly a team of individuals who chose to humble themselves so that they could be exalted. I think we could all learn a lesson in life about what Ohio State did on the field. In an era of individuals who want to make it about me, and me, Ohio State said, hey, let's make it about we. And ultimately, we are going to host the championship trophy. Shout out to the Ohio State University.
Well said. And honestly, like, we can all agree up here, the best team in college football won a chip. Like, Ohio State
I agree with that.
is the best team in college football. And we got to talk a little bit, before I get in, a little bit about the elephant in the room.
What's that?
The Big Ten owns college football right now.
No.
And
The last 2 years.
And SEC, your time is coming back in the spotlight. But all these years of the college football playoff, and all the Georgias, and all the Alabamas, and all this stuff right now.
That's fair.
Okay, in Texas, Missouri, you know, those guys, they're out of the SEC.
Missouri.
But Texas and Missouri, right? SEC. This is the Big Ten's time. I want to talk a little bit about the quarterback, because the quarterback in the regular season was not regular. Will Howard, I'm talking about. But he didn't elevate his play like he has in all of the college football playoffs. And quite honestly, when I watch him, yes, he has two great running backs. Yes, he has two great receivers. But the dude started, I think, 12 for 12 or 13 for 13 in this game against a very, very good Notre Dame defense. One, I think that improves his draft stock. I think a team will take a flyer on him. Now, he's not going to be a first-round pick, but what he showed me in the biggest games of the year has to be talked about. Number two, where is all the Ryan Day hate at? And mostly I'm talking to you, because I remember sitting up here in the first day we talked about the college football playoff after they had lost to Michigan. You said, do you think Ryan Day should keep his job? Absolutely. The dude is a national champion. He's due to be celebrated. He's got a 70-10 record at Ohio State. 70-10. Two-time Big Ten champion, 4 college football playoff appearances, finally broke through. Like, I was watching this game, and look at him, just freaking, I love that. Like, that's all college football is about. Like, you can just say the weight of the world coming off his chest and coming off his shoulders. Like, he deserves it. The green Gatorade bath, I'm sure Vegas had some bets on the type of color that would be. But I thought that was awesome. Like, it was about the Big Ten. It was about Will Howard. And for me, it was about Ryan Day.
That's a big-time jacket. I like that jacket.
Thanks, Doug.
Speaking of big bets, Shady, what you making a matchup?
Oh, man. Them Irish, huh? Look at the Irish. No, I bet on Ohio State, and they came through in the clutch.
It's not bet on Ohio State.
It's crazy because I never really...
That should take away your money off.
My money!
He didn't take it away.
I love when the better team wins, right? And it's funny because we had a whole conversation, and I got more in depth into the college football, especially in the playoffs. And I brought up the question to y'all. I was like, yo, Will Howard, y'all don't like him? And he's cool. He's all right. The more I watch him, he looked pretty darn good, fellas.
You look great.
So y'all had me believing that he was just okay. He was really good. I just love to see, like, the better team wins. Because sometimes you can have all the better talent, the better coaches, the higher recruits, and all these different things. You're supposed to win. And a lot of times you don't win. And even watching this game, even when Notre Dame started coming back a little bit, I say it's still over with. Because you can see the attitude of the players, right? They got the fumble, number 2 wide receiver.
Emmanuel Acho.
Yep, he had a really good player, too. Wow. He had a fumble, right? And then after the fumble, I think they went down there and scored. It didn't stop him, though. They came right back down and scored and had a long, deep pass and they kicked the field goal that's to seal the game. I love to see that. Ohio State, a lot of respect to y'all. One of my favorite running backs of all time, Morris Corrett. He was the man.
Yes, he was.
1-3 at Ohio State.
Played
so
him.
I never really liked Ohio State, but I always liked him, right?
Yeah,
Ted Ginn, them dudes. So happy they got the championship.
Yeah, he went for about 300 on San Jose State.
300.
Something close to it. I don't know what it was. My takeaway from that is a couple things. Number one, Chase, kudos to the Big Ten, but
now,
let's not try that.
Whole nother year.
Like I'm just
they
saying.
national champions. I'm an SEC guy too.
Take it easy.
Hey, I'm an SEC guy.
Dudes from the SEC, they got some dudes now. Yeah, kudos to them. But one thing I took away from it was save your NIL money. Because it was NFL players on that field for Ohio State on both sides of the ball. And you've seen it early and often and late in that game that they just had the better players and they had the NFL talent on that roster. Not saying Notre Dame don't got no NFL talent. It's going to be some dudes drafted. But you seen when that game got started, you seen the talent difference on both sides of the football with Ohio State. And number two, the quarterback impressed me, and not just with his arms.
Yeah.
My man can move. He was making plays with his leg, and we talked about it yesterday. That is where the NFL quarterback is going. Not saying you got to be Lamar or Jaden Daniels, but you got to be able to move to get outside the pocket. He made a bunch of plays with his arms, and he made a bunch of plays with his legs. And the last thing that stood out to me, the game on the line, Notre Dame.
Oh, what are you
3rd and 9. And you put man-to-man on Jeremiah.
All out blitz.
Yeah.
Bad call.
Come on, man.
But they did that that last drive you talking about?
Every time they played man-to-man, number 4 said, get out of it. Yeah. The whole game.
They warned them.
He made a play every time they got in man-to-man. The quarterback made a play every time. Man,
right here. Here's
the 3rd and 9.
This is it.
And you play man-to-man. Game over.
And I know we give a lot of love to Ohio State, and they deserve it. They played well. They got it done. But, dog, can I talk about my man Marcus Freeman?
Double move.
Huh? Can we talk about Marcus Freeman for a second? He got them Notre Dame boys playing well in a championship game, and he's a brother. The first brother to be in the national championship game. A lot of respect to him. And I will say this, he's a young dude, and players are fighting for him. He's going to be back there again. And I think next time he's going to win it. Hey, Freeman, keep balling, brother.
No doubt about that. I think Notre Dame did, in my mind, as good as they could have done.
Oh, no doubt.
If you ask Marcus Freeman, we could have played better here, we could have played better there. The Quinshon Judkins play, obviously, the safety, he was in a man-pass-run conflict. That was a dilemma. Notre Dame did as well as they could do. I mean, they marched down the field, 18 plays, 10-minute drive, touchdown. Riley Leonard, he did what he could. But again, not only did Ohio State have 5 stars that they themselves recruited in JT, number 44, and in Sawyer, number 33, you also got Quinshon Judkins. You paid him $5 million from Ole Miss. You got Caleb Downs from Alabama. God only knows how much y'all paid him.
Some money.
So they had homegrown talent in Jeremiah Smith. And then Quinshon Judkins, Will Howard, Caleb Downs. I mean, that Ohio State team, they were actually supposed to win the national championship. So like Shady said, I'm glad they did. Because before the season, they were picked to win the Natty. They paid to win the Natty. I'm glad they won the Natty. Shout out to you, most importantly.
You did 4 years in school? You did. How many did you do? 4. You did 4? How many you did? 4. I did 2. So that lets me know I got still some time.
You got eligibility.
You got some eligibility?
Come on. They spent that much. 5? You said 5? $5 million?
Yeah.
Give me 1.
The only difference is your hammies ain't right.
Didn't you see a video of you and AD racing?
Look at the history of the Chicago Bears franchise. This is a franchise that has been built on the back of their defense. We do not say the 1985 Bears and think about the offense. When we say the 1985 Bears, we think about everybody they had on defense. However, Chase, they're making one of the most revolutionary moves in the history of the franchise that we are now set to discuss, hiring Ben Johnson as OC. Can he save the quarterback that is Caleb Williams?
Saving is a very strong word right here. That was when you posed this question to me, I said, he doesn't need saving. He's not some throwaway player. Yes, he had some ups and downs of his rookie year. We talked about him as a generational talent. I still think that generational talent is there. He just hasn't had the coach to bring that out of him. He's never been coached at an NFL level like Ben Johnson will coach him. The biggest takeaway I have from this is that the Chicago Bears, give it up to Ryan Poles, the GM, and Kevin Warren, the president, because they got their guy. And quite honestly, in the Chicago scene, I played there 2 years. Not always do you get your first candidate. And not only sometimes do you not get your first candidate, but a lot of coaches don't want to go there. for a lot of different reasons, okay? But at the end of the day, this was an easy decision, in my opinion, for Ben Johnson. It starts and it ends with the quarterback. And the biggest thing for me, watching a bunch of tape for Caleb Williams, is he didn't play within timing of the offense last year. It was a one read and run, or it was pure progression, 2 reads, go run. I think what Ben Johnson brings, not only schematically, but from the mental aspect of things, it'll really change the way that Caleb Williams goes about how he prepares, how he plays. It's going to be something that is revolutionary for the Chicago Bears offense. This will be truly the first time that Caleb Williams, really since USC, even through USC in this first year, that he will be in a pro-style offense that will actually attack defenses. He will get easy completions. We've all watched and set up here some of these receivers that they should be separating. We're not separating. Stuff was not open some of the time in Chicago. He's going to have stuff wide open. He's going to understand the why. And when you understand the why of what you're doing as a quarterback, you can really take off.
That's incredibly well said. I think he will do as much saving to Caleb Williams as possible. Caleb Williams went number 1 overall because he has abilities that you can't coach. But now he has a coach that will coach the abilities that you can. What I mean by that is Caleb went number 1 overall because what he can do off time, off rhythm, out of the pocket, off platform. But now, can you get him in pocket? Can you get him on time? Yeah. Can you get him to throw in rhythm? Can you get him to read defenses pre-snap and identify the defenses that move post-snap? Can you get him to identify when a defense shifts from a 2-shell to a single high rotation? Can you get him to understand what are the voids and what are the vacancies in every defense? Every defense has voids and vacancies. A cover 2, that whole check down's going to be there and the whole shot's going to be there. A cover 3, can you hit a seam player if you look off the high post safety? A cover 5, can you hit the linebacker that's guarding the tight end man-to-man? Like, there's weaknesses to every single coverage. Can you get Caleb Williams to identify the coverage that the defense is in? Can you get him to identify pre-snap versus post-snap and identify what exactly are the weaknesses? And then, like Chase said, can you get him easy stuff? I'm literally
that's the biggest thing.
On my iPad right now, I'm watching Jaden Daniels' Detroit Lions film during commercial breaks. And what I learned about Jaden Daniels is easy completion.
Yeah, takes it easy.
A coach told me once, you'll never go broke making a profit.
Taking a profit, baby. That's
You'll never go broke taking a profit. He's not talking about money. He's talking about, as a quarterback, just take a profit every single snap. Throw a 5-yard gain, throw a 2-yard gain, throw a 7-yard gain. Oh, first down. Throw a 12-yard gain, throw a 5-yard gain, throw the check down.
Big plays will come.
Patient game, yeah.
You'll never go broke taking a profit. Jaden Daniels has not gone broke because he takes a profit every single snap. Caleb Williams has to identify and understand as well, and I do believe Ben Johnson will teach him that, Shady McCoy.
Yeah, I agree with you guys, especially you two. I think bringing Johnson over there, you need like an offensive mind, right? A guru. I think for you to get the number 1 pick overall and as a quarterback, why not get somebody to go with him, right?
Yeah.
I just think about this. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. It took all these years, right, to figure out that maybe these guys could potentially be a franchise bridge type quarterback.
Yeah.
And all it took was the right coordinators.
Right, yeah.
Kevin O'Connell, as bad as we all thought Sam Darnold was, for all them years, like I was like, man, this guy can't play. Right? I don't know what the heck was going on with USC, but this guy's not that. And then he gets a really good coordinator and Kevin O'Connell, and what happens to him?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It looks like, man, he could be a potential starter in this league.
No doubt.
So why not get it in your first or second year? Your biggest jump in the NFL is from year 1 to year 2.
So true.
So in your second year, why not get a guy like Ben Johnson? Why not?
Yeah.
Right? I think Caleb needs that. And I think he's a phenomenal talent. I think there's nothing changed from his talent-wise.
Yeah.
From college to the pros. But maybe getting a coordinator, well, hey, let me help you out a little bit. Let me help you see it better. Let me help you read it better. Let me get you in the film room and teach you the way I teach Jared Goff. We all thought Jared Goff was a really good quarterback, correct? But now we look at him in a different light. Even though I know he did drop that last game against Washington, I get that. But overall, through the year, he's played well. Another thing, we got a guy like Ben Johnson. The last 3 years, he's been a top 3 offense. You know what I'm saying? So, like, now if you have that, bring that to Chicago. They already have the talent. One thing is like trying to find it and trying to draft it. You already got in the building.
Yeah.
I think it's a great hire.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. Ben Johnson is going to a situation to where the talent's similar. The only difference is offensive line. You have to build up the offensive line. But if you ask me, the receivers are better in Chicago when you talk about 1, 2, and 3. You got Rome, you got Keenan, you got DJ Moore. You got a really good running back in Swift. So you're bringing your offense from Detroit over, and you can really run the same stuff. it's a lot of motions. It's a lot of stuff that goes on in Ben Johnson's offense, which is going to allow Caleb Williams to take the easy completion because stuff is going to be open. You do not have to force stuff. And that's what his offense brings. I absolutely love the hire. We talked about it, and we said Caleb Williams don't need to be in on this because the Chicago Bears better do right by Caleb Williams.
You called it.
You know what I'm saying? And that is exactly what they did. This dude, I ain't saying Caleb was dead, but this dude should get Caleb Williams playing at that Pro Bowl level and playing at that #1 overall pick level because he does have way more talent than Jared Goff. And I'm just keeping it a buck. He has way more talent than him. Running, arm talent, all that. He has more talent than Jared Goff. And now you get with a coordinator and you have similar talent around you, I think this is a perfect move for the Chicago Bears and Caleb.
Honestly, the biggest winner is Caleb Williams in this whole thing. But what needs to be talked about is the second biggest winner is DeAndre Swift. Look at what Ben Johnson has done with the run game in Detroit with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think this helps DeAndre Swift tremendously. I think not only does it help the offensive line when you have an under center run game with DeAndre Swift, but it also helps your quarterback because a quarterback's best friend is a run game. They could not get anything going run-wise in Chicago. This is a huge, huge get for the Chicago Bears.
I want to ask you this. One of my GM friends, right, he GM's for one of the teams right now. I won't say his name. He said, Shay, it's a great move. Do you agree? I said, yes. I started going about Ben Johnson, how good he is, how smart he is, right? I started sending him plays. He said, now, what if Caleb gets him and he plays a little bit better? What do you say? Is it the coach or is it the player? Because this is how GM thinks. So I guess because sometimes I get bold in my statements and I stand what I stand by because I played this game and I know it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, dang, I got to ask my boys. What would you say?
Caleb. Now, if Ben has proven that he can do it with Goff, who James and I agree with is not as talented as Caleb. If Caleb doesn't do it now we got to start asking Caleb.
I think it's got to be Caleb. I think Ben, obviously, we don't know what he's going to be like as a head coach. We don't know if he's going to be good or bad. We do know what he is as an offensive play caller, and it's elite. As you mentioned, in Detroit, top 5 offense in every year he's done. At this point, the onus is clearly on Caleb Williams, in my opinion.
If he gets a little bit better this year, I wouldn't judge both of them off of 1 year.
No, yeah.
But second year in Ben Johnson's system, if he's the same, then we got to start saying, is he double R? We got to. We got to.
Third year in, huh? Double R.
Can I bring up...
I'm just saying.
Let me bring up something you said, because what I love most about Ben Johnson, it's not just the play caller. As the sole defensive player on the desk, what makes Ben Johnson so great to me is 3 things. One is the play design.
No doubt.
Like this, not only do you have to call him right, you have to design him right. Remember that play he ran where Jared Goff faked the fumble? Remember the play he ran against Washington, handoff to David Montgomery, who goes on to pitch it, I believe, to Jameson Williams. The play design. Then you got to call it right. Because if you design it right as a defender, you got me confused. But if you call it right, you got me off balance. Then the last thing, I don't know if it's the play pliability or the play flexibility, but how many plays do you run out of different looks? When you're preparing as a defense, it's very simple. Hey, in I formation with the near offset back, I know that they're only going to run counter, they're going to run power, and they got a pat pass out of it. We call it a play action pass. Okay, if they got I formation with the far back, okay, they're going to come back and run counter, or they're going to run weak lead. Like, you can deduce the plays that an offensive mind is going to call based upon the looks, but if they got too many looks, now I'm out of whack. So Ben Johnson, elite play designer, elite play caller, and then I'll add like the play pliability of just how much stuff he can do out of different looks is what makes him so good.
And another thing on that is this offense under Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams could look different, too, because of the legs.
Way different.
Jared Goff ain't running nowhere. Yeah. So now you have the ability to call plays to where your quarterback can use his legs also. So you talk about all these different looks and formations and all this stuff that he presents, and now you got to worry about the quarterback's legs as well, too. This offense is going to look dangerous. The Chicago Bears should be really excited about this new hire,
and
for
to what you said, I agree with all those, like play design, the play call, and then play. Like, can you get out of this look? Can you not? Are you running these plays out of threes, which I like? But it comes down to the why. If you're a quarterback, and I've been in multiple different quarterback rooms with some Hall of Fame guys, if you don't know the why on why you are running this play and what to attack it with, it'll never work. And I don't think that Caleb Williams specifically knew the why this year. It was just out there backyard balling. Okay, that's not what Ben Johnson brings. There's a rhyme and a reason. I was with Ben Johnson in 2020, Detroit Lions. He was the tight ends coach, and he was in there in our offensive coordinator's office drawing up plays like, hey, this is what we should do. Like, just, it's not the offensive coordinator, right? But he's like, hey, there was a big say in it. You knew he was going to be a star back then because it was not only, hey, Chase, this is what we're going to do, or Matthew Stafford, this is what we're going to do. I see the why on this. Now, this is a quarters look versus this formation versus this personnel groupings. It's so much deeper than just calling a play. It's the why.
This is really good, and I can't go to break here just yet because what Chase said is interesting, and this is why the facility is created. The why in football is so important. I don't know if other shows are really going to talk to you about the why. The why is so important. Oftentimes, Shady, if anybody ever asked me to public speak, because outside of the show, what I probably do most is public speak, I will ask them, hey, what message do you want me to get across? If you tell me what you want me to get across, then I, in my own words and in my own way and in my own style, can get the message across. Yeah. But now if I know the why and the what message you want me to get across, I got the flexibility to do it my way. Yeah. As opposed to just, hey, Emmanuel, can you hit these 3 points? Just say, hey, I want the crowd to feel like this when you're done. In football, if you tell an individual the why, now I can understand, oh, okay, coach, so you need 2 blitzers to blitz off the edge. So if you need 2 blitzers to blitz off the edge, it doesn't have to be the free safety in the will. It could be the Mike in the will, depending upon the look. So now, depending upon the look, if I know, hey, we need 2 blitzers off the edge, I, as a Mike backer, can adjust to use the 2 blitzers that make the most sense. But if you just know, hey, the will and the safety got to go off the edge, now you're stuck. Now, what if you're in a compromised position? So I would assume quarterback, running back, receiver, if you know the why, it just helps unlock your game.
And that's huge. That's football, because it was a little while ago, but I was asking Shady about running backs, and he was like, you got to understand where this run is supposed to hit. When I get the handoff, it's not just Shady just out there being Shady McCoy and I'm just juking everybody. It's times for that, but the run is supposed to hit here. And if the run is not there, I can react there. At receiver, if a corner's inside leverage, where don't he want you, bruh? You ain't just running routes. He don't want you inside. So threaten him inside. And when you threaten him inside, he gonna go inside some more because his coach saying don't let him inside. You know what I'm saying? But that's the why. And then you leave yourself all this room out here for completions. You watched it yesterday with Jeremiah. Dude is inside. He came in, stimming inside. Dude just kept backpedaling inside, and he left all that room out. But that's the why.
What up, YouTube family? Welcome to the facility. Thanks for watching, and you better be sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to get more highlights from the show and all of our exclusive content.